Nintendo has finally locked in their new pre-order date for the Switch 2 in the United States after that unexpected delay. Mark your calendars for April 24th, as that's when you'll be able to secure your console after the original April 9th date was pushed back. The delay came right after President Trump announced those hefty new tariffs on imports from countries like China, Japan, and Vietnam. Despite these tariffs, Nintendo is keeping the Switch 2 base price steady at $449.99. The Mario Kart World Bundle is also sticking to its original $499.99 price point. This is honestly surprising given the economic pressures Nintendo must be facing with these new import taxes. What's not staying the same, however, are the accessories. Nintendo has bumped up prices across all Switch 2 add-ons by about $5 to $10 each. Joy-Con 2 controllers that were originally announced at $89.99, they're now going to cost you $94.99. The Pro controller is jumping up to $84.99, and the new camera add-on is now priced at $54.99. Even the smaller items like the Joy-Con 2 strap and wheel accessories are seeing price increases. The launch titles thankfully remain unchanged. Mario Kart World will still be $79.99 and Donkey Kong Bananza stays at $69.99. Whether you go physical or digital. Nintendo was pretty careful with their wording though, saying that other adjustments to the price of any Nintendo product are also possible in the future depending on market conditions. Basically, what this means is they're keeping the door open for more price increases if these tariffs start to really bite into their profits. The good news is the actual launch date hasn't changed. The Switch 2 is still hitting stores on June the 5th as originally planned. The pricing strategy is interesting when you consider that many fans were actually hoping Nintendo might lower the Switch 2's price, not just maintain it. $450 for the base console is way higher than the original Switch's $300 launch price. And that's before you factor in these more expensive accessories. If you're enjoying this breakdown of Nintendo's latest moves and want to stay up to date with all the gaming industry's twists and turns, hit that subscribe button and make sure you're following the channel. As a subscriber, I'll make sure you never miss out on these critical updates that impact your gaming purchases and experiences. Reports suggest Nintendo is shipping the majority of Switch 2 consoles manufactured in Vietnam to the US market. This move is to bypass the steepest of President Trump's tariffs by avoiding units produced in China or Japan. It's a clever workaround, but it also suggests supply might be tight in other regions as Nintendo prioritizes the massive US market. And the Switch 2 isn't alone in facing these economic pressures. Sony recently announced price increases for the PlayStation 5 in several regions including Europe, Australia and New Zealand. Industry analysts are predicting similar price adjustments will eventually hit the US market for PlayStation as well. What's worth taking notice of though is that certain electronics like smartphones and laptops received exemptions from these tariffs. Video game consoles, however, didn't make the exemption list, putting Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft in a difficult position. Nintendo's choice to absorb the tariff costs on the main console while passing some costs along via accessories is a calculated compromise. They're clearly trying to maintain the critical $450 price point for marketing purposes while recouping some losses through the add-ons. If you are planning to go all in on the Switch 2 with extra controllers, the charging grip and that new camera attachment, you're looking at spending significantly more than originally expected. A full setup with the console, an extra set of Joy-Cons, Pro controller and the camera could now cost you around $685 before tax. You can get a pretty decent gaming PC tower for that, which makes the value of the Switch 2 even more questionable for some gamers. For Nintendo loyalists though, the appeal isn't just about raw hardware power, it's about those exclusive franchises. The launch lineup featuring Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bananza demonstrates Nintendo's continued focus on their tentpole franchises. These are the games that sell systems, regardless of price point. Nintendo seems confident that the demand for the Switch 2 will remain strong despite these economic headwinds. Their statement apologising for the pre-order delay mentioned they hope this reduces some of the uncertainty our customers may be experiencing. That statement about consumer anxiety is telling. Nintendo recognises that the combination of high prices and economic uncertainty creates a challenging launch environment for them. What's not mentioned in any of these announcements is whether the tariff situation will affect production capacity or availability. If manufacturing costs increase significantly, Nintendo might scale back production targets to maintain profitability. This could potentially lead to supply shortages similar to what we saw with the PS5 and Xbox Series launches, although for different reasons. For budget console gamers, the accessory price increase might mean prioritising which add-ons are truly essential at launch. Do you really need that second set of Joy-Cons, or can that purchase wait until the holiday sales? The increased price of the dock set to $120 might also put off people who are planning to use the Switch 2 in multiple rooms or locations. This is exactly why many Nintendo fans were hoping for backward compatibility with original Switch accessories, which unfortunately doesn't seem to be the case. Storage expansion is another thing to think about, with the official Samsung microSD Express card for Switch 2 priced at $60 for 256 gig. Given the ever-increasing size of modern games, many players will find this extra purchase necessary rather than optional. And when comparing the Switch 2's pricing against its competitors, it's positioning itself in an interesting middle ground. At $450, it's more expensive than the Xbox Series S, roughly equivalent to the digital PS5, but less than the Series X or disc-based PS5. Nintendo is clearly betting that the unique hybrid nature of the Switch 2, combined with their exclusive software lineup, justifies this premium position. For now, interested buyers should prepare for April 24th if they want to secure a pre-order. Given Nintendo's history with hardware launches, initial allocations may sell out quickly despite the higher price point. The June 5th launch is still happening as planned, which gives Nintendo about 6 weeks from pre-orders to release. That's a pretty short window compared to typical console launches, suggesting they're confident in their manufacturing and distribution capabilities despite the tariff complications. As we get closer to launch, we'll undoubtedly learn more about the system's capabilities, performance, and software lineup beyond the initial announced titles. These factors, more than the slight price adjustments on accessories, will ultimately determine whether the Switch 2 repeats the tremendous success of its predecessor.